One of my most anticipated Lego sets of this year was definitely the Lego X-Mansion. And while I haven't built it yet, I do want to take a look at part of this, which was the free gift with purchase. If you bought the set, you also got this freebie version of Cerebro, which is something I haven't built for myself yet. Glad Lego went ahead and did this, and you get the nice little yellow box freebie for this, which will be in line with some of the other freebies that Lego has done. Very similar style. You can get a pretty decent amount of these. Some of the weight distributions in these makes it a little harder to stand them up. So I guess I'll just do that. But the freebie that came with the Avengers Tower, being the taxi cab, is going to be the same style, same piece count almost. This one is definitely a lot heftier. There's a lot of weight to this, so the contents are going to be pretty nice. And it's weird to see the two Marvel freebies in the same style of boxing, because that's not always consistent with some of these more licensed sets, where like the Disney Steamboat Willie one is much more substantial set with a whole decorated box. Obviously that one has more pieces, it's a little bit more premium, so I guess that might make some sense. This was a freebie that came with like a $300 set, so you could see it both ways, where it might be nice to have something with a little more presentation. This one though is a little more simple and not as recognizable, I guess. I still think it is a decent set and will be exciting. As an X-Men collector, you know, no decoration on the box. It really is just the instruction booklet with the decoration on the inside, but let's crack it open and check out the contents. Like I said, it's going to be hefty. You got a lot of bigger pieces here. And again, a little disappointed by the simple packaging here. I would have liked something a little more thematic and more exciting, but I get it, I guess. I think all the lightsaber sets that come out for Star Wars come in these as well. So not out of the ordinary. Instructions also got some thickness to them. I think there's like 50, 60 pages of instructions. Pretty typical. I think a little thicker than usual, honestly. At least the cover is. But, you know, just your average Lego instructions. Render in the front there. So nothing crazy here. I don't think there's anything really fun or unique about these either, where sometimes they'll have like Easter eggs or stuff in the instructions to kind of describe it. Just a gift with purchase set. There are a couple of exclusive printed parts in here too, so we'll take a look at those. And these two parts end up being one that's pretty generic, just a black brick with Cerebro printed on it to label a set. The other one is a lot more interesting though, being this printed computer screen for Cerebro, with of course X-Men character that does not have a minifigure in either of the sets, being Jubilee. So very nice to see a cool Easter egg like this, especially as a sticker with two different colors on it, because you can see white and then dark gray on there. Much better than stickers for both of these. You know, I probably could have done without this one, but it does make it a little bit more exclusive and fun. And it's nice to just see nice detailing, and I would be interested to see an official Jubilee. Looks like they have the sleepy kid hair and glasses printed on, jacket. So I do have the KO Customs version of Jubilee that I bought. Don't have it in hand yet though, so I can't do like a side-by-side comparison, but when I review that minifigure, I'll put these next to each other so you can see the difference. And again, kind of weird seeing a character reference that isn't in the set. And I guess while we're here, we get the Charles Xavier minifigure, which isn't going to be anything special either, with the classic Lex Luthor minifigure head that's been used since like 2012, and a generic tie and vest sort of combo there, which is interesting. This is a different minifigure than the one that is in the actual X-Mansion set, and I'll probably compare the two of those in that review instead of this one, since I don't have it built or opened yet. But you also get normal wheelchair instead of the hover chair, so that's another difference. And I had already bought the wheelchair parts to have a wheelchair for Charles, so a couple of bucks wasted there, where I could have just waited, and then boom, we have one right here with the official Professor X. I do think the head choice here is good for an official part. It's what pretty much everybody's used for their purest options for the character. Obviously, it would have been nice to see something new with better eyebrows, but these do have the points at the end. It works, it's fine. Let's get to the set. Due to the scale, obviously, it's not going to be like crazy detailed. First couple of steps, you just build like the platform that Cerebro is going to be displayed on. And that just ends up being kind of a roundish square. So we'll see how this kind of develops. You got the name right on the front there, but at the moment, very symmetrical. And just like the Bestman Duel Comic-Con set, you end up building the lower level, and you get some transparent bricks to elevate the actual platform, just like in the movies where it ends up being in that kind of domey type room. There's a little bit of space underneath the actual Cerebro platform, so that's being represented there as well. Something that might be worth pointing out as somewhat of an Easter egg maybe is that they use this lime green half circle plate for some reason, which just gets covered up by some more light bluish gray. So that's an interesting color usage. Maybe they just had leftover of that part, or could represent some sort of like power juice of some sort, mutagen. I don't know, but it was weird that there was a green piece being used when it didn't feel like it had to be. Further along in the build, you end up getting to the doorway. On the actual platform, you have the back place where the door goes as well, which makes sense. The actual assembly for the door is a little interesting, where you end up having that like rotation table, pretty typical, just round plate, which fits with a lot of the shaping for the set. You build an X, which is a little on the thick side, I feel like. Another round plate, press it down, so then you got that. There's rotation to it, which is interesting. I guess that would help you out in stop motion. I feel like in the movies, the X definitely rotates as the door opens in different scenes, so that could be somewhat fun for you to use. And then attaching it isn't like the most pretty technique or anything like that. You just have a bar on the side of the brick there, put the door on, then it hinges, open and close. Looks like you might have to do some fiddling around to get it to fit properly. That's what it looks like on the inside of the doorway. So I think this ends up being one of those downfalls of Lego where you don't have like a 1.5 width tile to do the X, where it looks a little thick. I'm sure if you did some jumper plates to get just a singular 1x2 sort of sloped tile, you can make it look a little bit better. That might be something I'll try out if I modify this at all, but there you go. You got a door. What more could you ask for? Then for the last step, you have to build like the side panels to kind of enclose the area. You just build some different panel type pieces. You get the option to fold them in to kind of decide how you want the room to be shaped. And they just clip on both sides. So you got one there, pretty much mirror it. Same build, but slightly different where the clip is, obviously. Fold in. You got one more spot at the top where you build another separate panel. And again, just folding it in, kind of making it all fit together. There's some options for posability with how you'd want to close it up. Something goofy is that there is an extra clip piece there for some reason. I'm not sure what I'm missing for right here. Maybe that would be a way to attach it somewhere. Or they just want it to have it symmetrical. I guess you would want to include more of the same pieces already in the set, but you're just kind of left hanging there. And you can see that there is a bar piece at the computer terminal there, which will be for that Jubilee part that we looked at earlier. Just clips on. So kind of a boring control area. And as a display model, it makes sense that there isn't like stuff in the front where you would be displaying it. But it does feel a little bit empty, I guess, there. But again, things would be covered. It'd be kind of stupid to have stuff all the way around, kind of like the Darth Vader meditation chamber. But you get the implication. Like I said, door opens, Professor X could wheel in, go to the computer, Cerebro it up, and then there are some extra stud areas to put some minifigures. So someone else could be in there helping them out with some extra boosts of psychic powers, or just accompanying him getting ready for a mission like they do in the movies every once in a while. This is the perfect spot to just cripple Professor X for the movie too, since that's what always happens, it feels like. And with that, it would have been nice to have another minifigure in here, I feel like. Just getting the Charles, it's a pretty generic minifigure, no exclusive prints. Feels a little bit of a bummer. Two exclusive printed parts of some sort in here does make it feel a little bit better with the Cerebro printing and then the screen printing, but it just feels weird to just have basically a civilian. I want to have a superpowered being of some sort. I'd rather honestly have just like a classic Star Wars or, the early Marvel polybigs with just a minifigure in it. That would have been really nice. Build-wise, though, it is substantial. Like I said, you had a lot of space here. I would have liked to have seen maybe some way to get a little dusty on the stand, but having some way to connect it to the set would be nice. It is pretty much just like a standalone vignette where there are no connection points. You'd have to get creative, and probably something I'm going to end up doing, expanding the mansion to actually fit this as a separate room instead of being kind of squeezed in like I know that it is. But for free, great. Like I mentioned, part-wise, this is a build. It's not just like a wimpy car or anything like this. It's going to look nice, just as a separate little build. Like I said, X in the door probably could be improved a little bit, make it less thick, a little bit more just like an X instead of like a very wide X. I do like all the blue accents around here. Feels very comic booky. Like you got some energy, power sort of drawings to imply that. I do think that is a fun effect. It definitely works. And does really call back to like the X-Men movies, or even I think like new X-Men is kind of where this design kind of started, which I guess would have been based on the movies. But when I think of Cerebro, this definitely fits the bill for all the different movies. I can't really think of like a specific comic book version I would think of. So this is great to have. Works for me. Let me know, what do you think? Is this something you wish you would have picked up? Or do you think this is something you probably build on your own? Definitely feel like it could be. It's not like a crazy build or anything. Really not any crazy complaints. Just would have liked more minifigures. If you want to see more Lego X-Men videos, and of course when I get to the X-Mansion down the line, make sure you subscribe. Check out all the other custom Lego superhero videos on my channel. I've been Brick Radiop, and I'll see you in the next video.